Greeting lecturer and hello everyone. Welcome to our group presentations. My name is Rinek and I'm from group 1. Today our group will be covered the chapter 8 of The Village by the Sea. That was the storybook written by Anita Dese. Before starting the presentation, I along with my teammates would like to pay our respect to our lecturer for giving us this great opportunity to experience this task. Without further delay, let's jump straight into our contents for today. We have totally 5 contents that we are going to present. The first one is started with the summary of this chapter 8 and will be followed by the characteristic analysis. Next, we are going to focus on theme analysis with psychoanalytic criticism theory. After that, it will be the part for the connection between study text and real life. And for the last one, there will be the vocabulary game that we want everyone to participate after this presentation. So now, let's move to the very first content of today, which is a summary of chapter 8. I'm not going to give you guys a dry summary, but our group comes up with the role play as well. So the role play has me as the narrator, Harry and Layla will be acted by Srikong, Dari will portray as Mr. De Silva and Mr. Pawanlas, who was Harry's neighbor in Bombay, and Kim Lang will play as Layla's father and Layla's sister, who were Bella and Kamil. Now, let's start our summary with role play. Harry finally woke up with food that he didn't ask for. But he couldn't recognize the place that he was in because he was so tired the night before. He was in Sri Krishna eating house, which was the meanest and shabbiest place even compared to the eating houses in Toul. Harry asked Jaku, who was the owner of the place.
I have no money to pay for all this food you are giving me. May you let me work in your kitchen instead?
Jaku agreed by paying him 1 rupee a day, like other 2 boys who were also his staff. Even working together, Harry and the boys couldn't talk with each other due to their different languages. Harry met a friendly neighbor who was an old man running a watchstore called Ding Dong Watchworks. They had great time having conversation together.
Where do you come from, Jagu's village?
The man asked Harry. Harry told him where he was from. The man then told him about Jagu and his 2 staff pastori who were orphans. This made Harry realize about his family. Harry suddenly asked the man where he could send postcards.
Sir, can you tell me where the post office is? I wish to buy a postcard.
Harry finally got his postcard. He then proceeded to write a letter to his family with the following. Dear Mother, I am in Bombay. I have a job. I will bring you my earnings. I hope you are well. I am well. Remember me to my sister. However, Harry didn't leave the return address, but he only left his name on the letter. Since Harry wasn't at Toul anymore, the cook from the De Silva house found it was hard to work alone by himself, with the next 2 weeks that the De Silva would stay there. Layla offered to help him.
My sister and I will help. We can go to bazaar and fetch anything you need.
The cook agreed on this. On the next day, that the De Silva was about to go to Alabas for shopping, Layla asked them to help to send her mother to the hospital. They hurried to bring her mother there and even paid for the medicine as well. Layla went back home alone without her mother. Since she still needed to be taken care of more, Layla was asked about her mother from her father, and he was so mad to know about where was his wife.
Why did you send her away without telling me? I will go to Aliba. I will find her. She can't be left alone. She's stupid girl.
He then left the house and walking straight to the hospital. Mr. De Silva brought Leila to see her mother at the hospital, and her mother was getting a bit better. However, her mother still needed to stay at the hospital to cure herself anemia and slight cause of tuberculosis. Leila's father would stay with his wife until she could recover, but Leila still felt worried about thousands of problems in her head. When seeing Leila was so worried, Mr. Rizeva reassured her.
Don't worry so much. I've give your father a little money for food, and we are paying for the medicine. The hospital itself is free. You will be paid for the work you and your sister do for us.
Leila was still afraid about the future when the De Silva left. So Mr. De Silva told her about his friend who were coming to Toul soon.
We are going, but a friend of ours is coming from Mumbai to live at Monry Post for a few months. He will be alone. If you wash and sweep and cook for him, he will pay you a salary.
Leila listened and still unsure about this plan. She was also thinking about her brother Harry. As soon as Leila reached her home, Bella and Carmel ran to work with a letter.
From Harry. Harry has written us a postcard.
And this is the end of our summary of Chapter 8. Thank you everyone. And now I would like to invite Srikong to have the floor for the characteristic analysis part.
First of all, good afternoon lecturer and good afternoon all my beloved classmates. My name is Ansri Kong and I am responsible for presenting part 2, which is character analysis. The first character that I'm going to describe is Harry. Harry is the protagonist of this story, The Village by the Sea. He is a boy of 12 years old and in the story, he is described as a hardworking boy. He thought of any ways to get a job to earn money for his family. Moreover, he was also willing to work for others in terms of exchanging for food. For example, I have no money to pay for all this food you are giving me. Will you let me work for you instead? On page 93. Moreover, he is also thoughtful. Even Harry left his house and family by moving to Mumbai to find a job. He still thought of his family. He missed his family, so that he wrote them a postcard. For instance, "Sir, can you tell me where the post office is? I wish to buy a postcard." He wrote his name in large letter to fill up the space, but not his address and went off to post it. Page 95. However, he is careless. Harry wasn't really care about what was around him, especially where he was at before sleeping. As an illustration, Harry had been so tired and weak and anxious that first night that he hadn't really been aware of the place in which he found himself. Page 92. And last but not least, Harry is an intelligent boy. Harry did not communicate or talk to his coworker at Jagu restaurant because he didn't understand what they were talking about. To illustrate, on page 93, Harry realized it was in Tamil, a language he did not know. The next character is Leela. Leela is a young girl of 13 living in a poor fishing village in India. They have 3 younger siblings and together they are forced to take care for themselves after their mother gets ill and their father starts drinking and stops working. In chapter 8, Leela is described as family-oriented. She helps supporting the whole family with both taking care of them and try her best to find money so that her family can survive. For example, you will be paid for the work you and your sister do for us, so you will have some time for running your own household. On page 102. Beside that, Lila is brave. Lila wasn't sure whether or not she would ask for help from the Silvers to take her mother to hospital. Fortunately, she was brave enough to ask for help, and she got help by the Silvers family. For instance, Sahib, can you take my mother to Alibar? She has been so ill and there is no doctor and no hospital here. Page 97. Lastly, Lila is helpful. She was very supportive to the cook from the Silva's house even she had many works to do for her own family. To illustrate, on page 96, after sweeping the house for them, cleaning away the spider webs from the corners, and fetching water from the well for the kitchen, she asked the old cook. The next two characters that I'm going to describe is Bella and Camel. Bella and Camel are Lila and Harry's younger sisters. They are still in school and thus they work hard to help the family. They are still young and like sweets and playing. They both are described as obliging. Bella and Camel were so young, but they were so obliging to their sister Lila. They just did what Lila told them to do. For example, go and help, carry in their bags, tell them I'm just coming, on page 96. Besides that, they both are enthusiastic. Bella and Camel were so excited when they received a letter from Harry. From Harry, Harry has written us a postcard, on page 102. The other character is Lila's mother. Lila's mother is known as a fragile woman. The mother was ill throughout the whole story. She was not able to help Lila to maintain the house. She was not fit and cannot even get up out the bed to help their children. For example, she is suffering from a very bad case of anemia and a slight of a touch of TB too, page 101. Next is Lila's father. Lila's father is altruistic. He cared for his wife a lot despite the fact that he was a drunk man. He was able to take care of his wife at the hospital. For instance, your father has said he will stay and look after her, page 101. However, he is a drunken man. He was an alcoholic. He quitted his job and spent money on toddy every day. Under the power of alcohol, he shouted at Lila when she brought her mom to the hospital without telling him. For example, why did you take her away without asking me? He roared, on page 99. Besides that, he was also aggressive. He was a father who had 4 children, but he was not trying to show things to his children. Instead of using a good word, he used such rude and bad words to his children. As an illustration, why did you take her away without telling me? I will go to Alibar. I will find her. She can't be left alone, you stupid girl. Page 100. The other two characters are the Silvers, Mrs. De Silvas and Mr. De Silvas. They both described as wealthy. Both husband and wife were from a rich family. They had a car, a beach house, and money. For instance, the Silvers, who were rich and had a car and could have, page 96. They are also generous. They were so generous and agreed to help Lila's mom by intending to give her mom the medicine, help bring her to the hospital and pay for the medicine too. For example, of course we will pay for the medicine. Go and fetch your mother, on page 98. Next, Jagu. Jagu is a kind man. He was so generous and he was the only one who provided the young boy Harry a place to stay and food. He also accepted Harry for a job in his restaurant. As an illustration, if you like, you can stay here and work for your meal. Page 93. The next two are daughter and nurse. Daughter and nurse are kind and helpful. They both were kind and took a good care of Lila's mother. For instance, don't look so frightened. We will look after her. We have very good daughters. You need not to worry. On page 99. The other character is Mr. Panvala. Mr. Panvala is described as an old, gentle, and kind-hearted man. He was an old watchmaker. He was friendly to Harry. Because of him, Harry was able to send a letter to his family by lending Harry some money. For example, have you money for a postcard or can I lend you some? On page 95. The other character is the cook. The cook is complaintive. He complained over small things even though it was his job to do so. As an illustration, our brother used to do the shopping for us. Now you tell me he is not here? I don't know. I'm supposed to manage. But manage I must while they enjoy themselves. Page 96. Besides that, he is a kind man. He accepted Lila's offer about helping in the house instead of Harry, when Harry was not in school. For example, my sister and I will help. Yes, that is how it will have to be done. Last but not least, the boys at Jagu's restaurant. They are hardworking. They work so hard for Jagu in his restaurant. As an illustration on page 93, they did not speak to each other as they work. Lastly, they are unintelligent. They worked with Harry in the kitchen, but they could not communicate with Harry because they did not understand Harry's language. On page 93, nor did they seem to know any Hindi or Marathi, the two languages he knows. This comes to an end of my part. Thank you lecturer and thank you everyone. Now let's move to the next presenter.
Thank you, Musicon, for giving me the floor. Now let's move to theme analysis. The first theme analysis is kindness. Based on the story in the book, Jago and Mr. Disdewars are strangers from Harry and Lila. With the kindest heart, Mr. Jagos provided food to Harry and accepted Harry to work in his restaurant. His restaurant name is Sari Krishna Eating House. Now we look at Mr. Disdewars, the owner of the Disdewars house. With his kindness, he helped taking Lila's mother to the hospital and also paid the hospital fee for her. The second theme analysis is adaptations. Bombay and Tours were far different from each other, but it was not a big deal for Harry because he could adapt to the situations or any place that he were in. He could adapt to live in the noisiest place in Bombay, and he also could work and live in the restaurants that he didn't know anyone in that place. We also know that Disdewars is a rich family. He had a peaceful and comfortable life in Bombay. It was not easy for his family to live in the poor village, but he could adapt to live in the village for their vacations. The theme analysis is responsibility toward family. As we know that family is extremely important for providing comfort and support, Harry and Lila work together to take care of their parents and their siblings. Lila, as the eldest daughter, she needed to take care of her family, her two little sisters, and extremely her mother that was sick. Her mother couldn't do anything. Moreover, she needed to take care of her father, who was the drunken man, and sometimes she faced with the owner of her father's debts. As the eldest daughter in the family, she had to take the responsibilities of taking care of her family. Harry was not different from Lila. Harry is the eldest son and also the only son in his family, so he had to find a job to earn money to supporting his family. As the result, he decided to go to Bombay to find better jobs and earn money for his family. This is the heavy thing for Harry to do it, but he had no choice. Not least, the fourth theme analysis is violence in the family. As we know that Lila's father was a drunken man, he didn't say something reasonable to his child. Besides, he shouted and yelled at his child. When he knew that Lila took his fight to the hospital without telling him, he was extremely angry, so he shouted at Lila and he kicked something in his house. This verbal abuse was from the reason that he was a drunken man. That's why he was so aggressive, so used violence in his family. Let's move to psychoanalytic criticism theory. Psychoanalytic criticism is greatly depend upon three parts such as ID, ego, and superego to analyze someone's personalities or the ways someone behaves. Here is the psychoanalytic criticisms of Harry characters. For IDs in the chapters, while he arrived at Bombay for the first time and first things that keeping in his mind is job. He wanted to find a job for himself so that he could survive in Bombay. For his egos, Harry had no money left to pay the food at Jaco restaurant, so he decided to ask Jaco to work at his restaurant. For superego, Harry was accepted to be staff at Jaco restaurant with meals, place to stay, and only ₹1 a day. Even though ₹1 equals $0.014, so it is a little money to work per day with a hard work. But Harry agreed with Jaco and he started to work with Jaco. Next, we move to Lila's characters. For her idea is Lila had a mother who was sick, but there was no hospital in Tours. Lila wanted her mother to get better. And for ego, Lila tried all the way that she could to cure her mother. The last choice she had was to ask De Silva for help because she thought that Mr. De Silva is a kind person and he had money enough. He had money enough to take her mother to the hospitals. For superego, Lila knew that Mr. De Silva had her father so much for the first time, but she took all the courage and she asked De Silva for help, sending her mother to the hospital in Alibas. Next is the De Silva characters. For ID, the De Silva wanted to help Lila and her mother. Mr. and Mrs. De Silva wanted to help Lila to take her mother to the hospital and pay medicine fees. For ego, they accepted to bring Lila's mother to the hospital in Alibas as Lila requested them. For superego, however, Mr. De Silva hated Lila's father so much for the first time they met him, and The other reason is Leela was not his family, but he finally helped Leela for paying medicine fees for Leela's mother, and he also told Leela not to worry about her mother so much. Next is Leela's father's characters. For ID, Leela's father wondered where his wife was. He tried to look for her, but she was nowhere to be found in the house. For Ego, while he didn't see his wife in the house, fortunately, Leela arrived home, so Leela's father asked Leela about her mother. For Super Ego, Leela's father was mad and blamed Leela when he knew where his wife was. He immediately left the house and he went straight to the hospital. The last character is the cook. For ID, the cook complains about his work because he had no Harry to help anymore. Normally, when Harry worked in the Silver's house, he always helped the cook to carry the luggage into the house. But now, Harry didn't work in this house anymore. For Ego, the cook wanted to help Harry to help him like before. For Super Ego, Harry didn't live in the Silver's house anymore, so the cook accepts Leela's offer that she would help him with the things in the Silver's house. Next part, I would like to invite Dari to continue our presentations. Thank you.
Greeting lecturer and hello everyone, my name is Positif Dari and today I'm going to talk about the connection between study text and real life. Without further ado, let's get started. The first one is kindness. Kindness is one of the most beautiful and powerful forces that exist in the entire world. Kindness can be shown in many different pictures. It can be kind gesture, thoughtfulness, forgiving, helping others without expecting something back, and so on. One small action of kindness can make a big impact on other people's life. In the village by the sea novel, we can see that Harry was lucky enough to meet a kind person who is Jagu. Jagu took a pity on Harry. He gave Harry food, a place to sleep, and even a job, so that Harry can survive in the city of Bombay. As for Mr. De Silva, he took Lila's mother to the hospital in Alibag. From this, we can see that even a small act of kindness can make a big impact on Harry and Lila's life a lot. If we take a look to the real world, the CRC, which stands for Cambodian Red Cross, helps many people in Cambodia who are in vulnerable situations and need help the most. In 2013, the Cambodian Red Cross, with support of French Red Cross, began distribution of relief to nearly 2,000 families in Kampong Thom. They also help to improve the access to source of food and livelihood, as well as education on importance of clean water and good hygiene. Leung Cheng Liam, a grade 6 student, said that it was a small changes that made a difference. She also said that since she had access to filtered water, she did not have a stomachache anymore. This showed that the help from CRC meant a lot for people who live in that area. It made a difference in many lives. Like one quote says, sometimes it takes only one act of kindness and caring to change a person's life. Next is adaptation. Adapting to change is one important element for living. Living conditions can be varied throughout the time. In order to fit into one specific society and condition, people must adapt and try to become a better version of themselves so that their life can be better. If people deny and resist the change, it will only lead people to live a miserable life. If we look into the novel, we can see that Harry adapted to change of life in the city of Bombay and adapted himself to work in the meanest and shabbiest restaurant just to survive. As for the De Silva family, the rich people from city also adapt themselves to environment as well. This shows that when people accept the change of life, they can live a better version of life that they have never thought of. If you look back to the real world, Oprah Winfrey is a good example. She's the best known for her multi-award-winning talk show, The Oprah Winfrey Show. She was born into poverty in rural Mississippi to a teenager single mother, and later raised in a city. She experienced hardship during her childhood, saying that she was raped at the age of 9 and became pregnant at 14. Her son died in infancy, but she left her past behind and tried to adapt herself to the situation. She then succeeded through her show, The Oprah Winfrey Show. She has been ranked the richest African American of the 20th century. She also the most influential woman in the world. From this, we can see that when life changes, you adapt to change and accept everything in your life, then you will become a better version of yourself. Like one quote say, life happens, adapt, embrace change, and make the most of everything that comes to your way. Next is violence in family. Violence shown in many different pictures. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, and damaging family property are easily seen in the household. Violence mostly happens in a poor and uneducated family, especially when one of the members is an alcoholic. Violence gives many negative impacts on each of the members. It can be death, illness, injury, disability, and emotional abuse. In Anita Desai's novel, Layla got verbal abuse, saying that she knew nothing. The same situation in real life is illustrated through one case of violence. Ayi is the victim in child abuse. He got abused by his mother. He then suffered from emotional problems because he got severely scolded and his mother used a knife to threaten him. Ayi is overweight due to an inherited disease and also had low esteem because he was teased for being too fat. His situation improved after intervention from social worker and volunteer. From this, we can see that using violence impacts the children a lot, especially his or her emotion and physical state. This one quote say, "It doesn't matter how rich or poor a person is, what gender or social class, or how much fame or education she possesses. Verbal, mental, and physical abuse can happen to anyone. It doesn't matter what a woman's ethnicity is, because the only distinguished color of abuse is black and blue." This means that violence has no boundary. It can happen to anyone, anywhere, and anytime. Last but not least, responsibility toward family. In the novel, Layla and Harry took responsibility which substitute for their sick mother and drunkard father. No matter in the story or real life, the responsibility of parents play an important role in the family. Father is the manager or head of the family, and his authority is respected. Besides this, finding money is also one of his responsibility as well. As for mother, she is a housekeeper and a treasurer. From traditional time until now, if the parent fail to do their duty, children will be in charge of the responsibility which substitute to their parent, especially the eldest sibling. Children then have to be responsible for managing and finding money to support the household. The life of the children will be in trouble once the parents fail to understand their responsibility toward family. They probably live a life that is not the same as normal kids live. This one quote says the situation can be overwhelming. It's important for family to share responsibility. It's not just one sibling job. This means that no matter what happens, each member in the family must share responsibility and burden. It's not about one person taking all the burdens. And this is the end of our presentation. Finally, we would like to say thank you for spending your time and paying attention to watch our presentation. For any unintentional mistake, we hope that you would understand and feel free to share your comment. Thank you.